Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a junkyard / scrapyard in Minecraft for all of your city building needs. There are a lot of parts to this build, so I would love to show you around a little. As we enter the scrapyard, we have a small storage shed for some of the more valuable pieces of scrap. Next to it, we have a huge stack of shipping containers. This scrapyard also functions as a mini recycling center of sorts, so we have a bunch of skips filled with various different things, as well as some bins as well. On the opposite side of the yard, we have a car crushing machine. And naturally, piles of crushed cars. We have a tyre stack. Towards the back of the junkyard, we also have a bunch of different vehicles in various states of decomposition, including a school bus, pickup truck, minivan, motorcycle, car, army jeep, helicopter, a truck, and also an aeroplane. In this corner, we have a car shredder / grinder. I didn't even know that these things existed, but they're pretty cool. As well as a giant pile of scrap metal. Stacks and stacks and stacks of cars. And not only that, we also have a variety of vehicles to make as well, including this large crane that you can either attach a claw or a giant magnet to. We have a smaller mobile crane that we can do the same thing to. Here we have a small bulldozer. And lastly, we have a tow truck. And how could I forget, we have the lovable junkyard dog, Scrappy Mcstuffins. Fun fact, I am hidden somewhere in the intro of this video. Let me know down there in the comment section if, where and when you find me. The first person to find me will get their comment pinned. To make the build, we will need a 61 block wide by 59 block long area, as represented by this very handy grid on the screen right now. To find the starting position, begin at the front left hand corner of the grid, count to the right, find the 28th block, and then count inwards and find the 30th block. That is where we will begin. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Start off by placing 2 stone blocks in a row on the ground. 1, 2. Begin by placing 2 stone block in a row on the ground. 1, 2. Then place a polished tough wall. Dig to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And replace those blocks with smooth stone. But on the end here, place another polished tough wall. To the right of it, 2 stone block. 1, 2. And then extend backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can then extend across the back here, and then we can connect all the way back to where we first started. On the front of the build, we can extend the polished tough wall up by 2. 1, 2, and 1, 2. We can then place stone, extending up and around these rows, joining together across the top to form the entrance. We can then place 1, 2 stone blocks here on the right and 1, 2 here, just like so. We then want to raise up these 3 middle blocks, 1, 2, 3, just like this, above the entrance. And then on the sides, we will place a stone block, leave a gap of 2, 1, 2, and then a stone, gap of 2, and then 2 stone. So it will look like this. And we can extend across the top here, and then across the back, join down. It's up to you whether you want to have any windows on the back, by the way. You could easily divide the back up in a similar way so that we have some more windows, or you could leave it blank. I don't see the harm in leaving it open, so I'm actually going to copy the same design, not only onto the back, but onto this side also. And now all we have to do is install a roof. So I'm going to start off by placing a dark prismarine here, dark prismarine slab to the left, extend forwards, and then right and up and right and up. And we want to repeat this until we are in this position. We can then start to extend down onto the opposite side, just like so. And if we take a look at this from the front, this is exactly what the roof will look like. And from here, I would recommend extending the solid prismarine blocks back. So they want to overhang the back of the build by 1, just as they do the front of the build. And once we have extended the solid blocks, the slabs are a lot easier. Perfect, and we just have to add some stone as well inside here, just to cover up all of this empty space. And now we can just add the slab to form the roof. Perfect. And now we are just going to head inside, and I'm going to remove these grass blocks underneath the walls, and then remove all of the grass inside of this building. By the way, there's actually loads of room to extend this building if you'd like. Something that I'd actually like to say right now is that a lot of this junkyard is very customizable. You can place whatever you want, wherever you want, and there's loads and loads of room, so if you would like to alter this to be larger, you certainly can. And now that we've just destroyed the floor, I've realised that we really should improve the roof a little bit on the inside, just by adding some slabs so that it gradiates a little bit better. I think that this will look a lot nicer. That's perfect. So, an example of what I'm talking about in terms of customization. I would highly recommend that we always have this little mini warehouse right in the center of the junkyard, but what you put inside of it is kind of up to you. So, we can have like an old fridge freezer here. We can have like a chest freezer. We can just have like a random cauldron. I like the idea of an old TV being in here, so a TV with like rabbit ears, just kind of, maybe we'll place it right on the side here, so TV with just like rabbit ears, just like this. I like the idea of just being like little varying bits of scrap metal kind of just placed about. I wish that that was easy to place on its side. Maybe we can connect it together with a little bit of maybe something like this. Kind of almost looks like a robot. That'd actually be kind of cool if we had like a robot in here. What might be cool as well is to have like a motorcycle in here as well. So maybe a motorcycle that whoever owns the scrapyard is like doing up or something like that. So maybe we can just have something like this. Looks pretty cool. Or maybe it can be a little... Maybe we could even remove like one wheel and have like a lightning rod here. This looks a little bit goofy. Maybe knock one of these off. And I think that looks kind of interesting. Maybe we can even pile up a little bit of scrap in this corner. Some different kinds of weathered copper. And maybe like an anvil here. Different kinds of furnaces can look like different engines for different vehicles. Maybe even just like a heavy core on the floor. And we could even just slap down a few just iron ingots or something similar just in some item frames. I think that this looks pretty good. And I think all we need is just a light kind of in the middle of this area. Maybe we can even just run some iron bars just to the light like so. We could, if we were looking to get fancy, we could have like a actual like light switch, in air quotes, something like that. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. Of course, please do just alter this in any way that you like. Make it a little bit more customizable. We can even mucky up the floor a little bit. There's no reason that the floor has to be in such good condition. So something like this would look just fine. We don't have to go too crazy with it. I actually do think it would be funny to kind of have just like a little faux copper golem over there in the corner. So just like remove that. I think that that's kind of fun. I felt as though that the lightning rod looked goofy. But regardless, that is the mini warehouse, which means that we can now move on to the stack of shipping containers. Starting from the front right hand corner of the warehouse, we count to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then backwards by 1. You can see that I have a spread of colourful terracottas. I'm going to start off with the light blue and place 1, 2, 3 on top of each other. So this doesn't have to be placed in the exact same way, by the way. Do feel free to mess about with the positions for these as well. But regardless, we will then extend that row to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will extend this down to the ground. And then we will extend the sides and the top backwards by 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and the top 1, 2. And then we'll join down. So we just want to make a solid container like this. And later on, we might even add some doors to some of these as well. So the idea here is for us to now stack another container just to the right of this. So we'll be a little bit offset. We'll start here and place 1, 2, 3, and then extend to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll extend around and loop. So the size of these containers are all the same. So they're 3 blocks high. They are 7 blocks long in total. And they are 3 blocks in depth as well. So 7 by 3 by 3. And I'm telling you this to make it a lot easier for these next parts. So now that we've connected these two together, I'm going to grab some red terracotta, and I'm going to slot one extending across here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll extend this way by 2, and then extend back on myself, and then I'll just extend and join all of this together. So I don't necessarily even have to fill these in completely, it just looks a little bit less sloppy later. And then connecting to this one, I would actually like a different colour of terracotta. I'd like some light grey, and I'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, and then I'll extend back on myself, and extend up by 2 rows of course. And fill it at the top. Then I'm going to swap back to light blue terracotta again, since we're quite far away from that one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just build up the container. And I think that this looks pretty good for the first stack of containers. So now let's start stacking on top of these. And I'm just going to start here. 1, 2, 3 with the purple terracotta, and then backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from here, I'm going to grab the magenta terracotta, and I'm going to kind of stack in this way a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's looking good. So now we are going to have a yellow one going this way. So I think that we'll start it like one row hanging off of the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll extend across this way. That's looking good, and now we'll join together with a cyan terracotta starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks good. And now let's stick an orange on the end. So we'll come even further this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect, so let's take a little look at this. This is looking great. So we're actually just going to stack one more now. We have the lime terracotta, and roughly in the maybe here we'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we will just place this directly on top. And I do also want to point out that you are not limited to this shape. You can stack more and more and more, maybe even add some behind, either this direction or this direction. Change the colours, use concretes as well if you like, use whatever material. But I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. And what makes this a little bit cooler, I think, is if we add some stairs so that we can kind of like navigate these a little bit. So we can add some spruce stairs here, and we'll add some upside down ones like this, and then a row of planks extending across here, and then another set of stairs just like so, and we can cut it short here a little bit. And then maybe if we start one here as well, so we can get up to the very top, I think that that will look good. And maybe we can just wrap around a little. So there we go, we can climb all of these rather nicely. And I like the idea of having some scaffolding as kind of like supports for these, so that these stairs kind of like seem like temporary, in a sense. I think that that looks pretty cool. That might be a bit too much, so I think that we'll just get rid of that. That's fantastic. And then beyond that, I like the idea of adding some spruce trapdoors, at the very least to like these parts. So like here, for instance, along the flat parts, I'll say. And definitely up here too. There we go, so let's take a little look at this. See, I think that that just looks so insanely cool. I really love that. Next to the shipping containers, in this corner, we have a bunch of bins that we can use to recycle. So we'll leave a gap of one here, place a lime concrete gap, then a light blue concrete gap, brown concrete. We'll leave a gap of 2 in front of all of these, and place a green terracotta, cyan concrete, and then a brown terracotta. And we'll place some trapdoors on top of these. You can have all of them open, you can have some of them open, it doesn't really matter. If you wanted to go a bit mad with this, you could also label these, so I don't know, maybe this can be like general waste, maybe this can be like plastic, maybe this can be like glass, you know, something like that. I think that a fun touch would be to add some colourful candles around these to kind of like represent some glass bottles that have been strewn to the side of the bin. And we can have the same thing for plastic as well. And you know what, let's do the same with the bins behind, because I really do like this little design here. So maybe we'll just kind of like place them. Maybe people have been a bit lazy, they kind of like place them off to the side. And we can have all of these same signs as well. So I can't really think of any other signs that we can place. If you've got better ideas than me, feel free to add them. But another one, a good idea would actually be to also like stack some bags of rubbish next to the general waste as well. So a kelp block. Maybe we can have a few back here since there's a bit more room. Maybe we can like stack it up this high so we can have some household bags kind of just like stacked like this. I think that that looks pretty cool. In a similar theme of household recycling, we are going to make some skips. So in front of this bin here, we want to count and find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th block. We'll place a bamboo fence gate like this, 2 yellow terracotta, a bamboo fence gate, and then we'll place 2 yellow terracotta extending forwards from the gates, 1, 2 on both sides. Then we'll place another gate, connect them together with yellow terracotta, and then we can place dark prismarine slabs on the front and back, and then yellow terracotta along the sides like this to form the side of these skips. So this is exactly what they look like, nice and simple. And you can either add stone bricks into the base of the skip here, or if you want to layer the skip a little bit differently, you can remove the base and then place this. If you want to get up into these, you can either have a set of ladders, like just up here, helping us to climb in, or maybe you can have a stair, or maybe you could have both, or maybe you can vary it. But that's what a skip looks like, and we have to make a bunch more of these. So we're going to leave a gap of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place another fence gate, 2 yellow terracotta, fence gate, and we'll extend the yellow terracotta backwards by 2 from the fence gates, and then we'll place another fence gate joined together with the terracotta, then dark prismarine slabs on the front and back, and then we'll extend yellow terracotta across the top of the gates, and then we can just fill the base of the skip in with stone brick. And why don't we vary it this time? We'll have a stair here. So we will have just 2 rows of these skips, and then the spacing for these, we will actually place another set of skips. We'll just leave a gap of 2, so 1, 2, and then we want to have just another set of skips like this. So we'll have the fence gate, 2 terracotta, and then a fence gate just like this. And then we want to have another row of them in front of these. So we want to leave a gap of 2. So 1, 2, fence gate, terracotta, fence gate. And then we're just going to do this again. So I'm just going to lay out where all of these are, because they're really, really simple to make. So we want to have 3 rows of these in total. And they're all built in the exact same way. So I think that I'm going to kind of like quick build them like this. That's perfect. So for these, I'm just going to like just ladder here, then maybe like a stair here, and then we have a stair there, so we'll go for a couple of ladders, why not? And then maybe a couple of stairs here. I think that's perfect. And then it's kind of optional to even add the base to these, because if you do plan on filling up these skips, then it's redundant to even have anything in them, but it is completely up to you. I'll give you some ideas on what we can like add to these in a second. So an easy one would be to fill this up with just kind of like have another general household rubbish style skip. So something like this would look good if you just use a variety of like dried kelp, some of the green blocks, terracotta, concrete powder, whatever, and then just add some candles to the top of like 1 or 2 of the bags. I think that that looks good. So we have kind of like a general use sort of skip here. Over here, we can just have like one stacked with just like wood. So I don't know how I managed to forget planks, but we can have some like planks here, a trap door, maybe like even a door in here as well. Maybe we can balance the door against this. Maybe have like a fence here, so we can have a skip to chuck some more wood in. Perhaps this one we can load up with like just mostly iron stuff, kind of like similar to this skip, but with iron instead of wood. Maybe this one we can stack just like a bunch of like furnace stuff, so like more of like a heavy metal skip. That sounds like a good band name, I guess. I think that that looks alright. I don't know if this is a stupid idea or not, but what about like a garden waste sort of skip? So something like this. I think looks not too bad. Maybe if we add like a bit more rubble in here, so maybe like a cobblestone here, and maybe like a stone butter, maybe. I think that that looks a bit better. And then why not just a nice shiny copper filled skip as well? I think that that would look really nice. So something like this, I think, looks pretty good. And there we go, we filled them all. But once again, if you've got better ideas, please do feel free to change it. It's still a nice variety. I'm not sure that it all makes sense, but hey. I tried to be random, and yeah, I managed to place a door in almost the exact same position for each one of these. And I also kind of like laid out the skips in a very similar way. how does this happen? I'm really happy with how this side of the scrapyard looks, but before we move on, I think it's time to add some structure in the form of some roads and some walls. So we're going to start off by identifying these 5 smooth stone blocks of the entrance of the warehouse. We're going to leave a gap of 2 in front of them, so 1, 2, and then we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And then we are going to remove all of these blocks in a 5 by 5 area, just like this. So we're going to remove these 5 blocks leading all the way to the front boundary of the build. So this is going to be the road into the scrapyard. Just like this. And then we also have to make a road that goes to the left and to the right. So these are also 5 rows thick, but we have to make a... Well, actually, this is quite easy. So we can destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows here on this side. And we can actually just keep digging until we are 1 row away from the shipping container. So that red one specifically, because it sticks out the most. So, right here. That's perfect. So, now that we have done that, we are going to dig across to this side, and we will dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Just like this, right? But this also wants to be 5 rows thick as well. So, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to remove all of these blocks. And that looks fantastic. So now that we have done this, we have to fill this road in. So we're going to start off by just filling it all in with stone to begin with. So just good old stone. But we are going to texture it afterwards. So that's how the road looks right now, which is perfectly fine, by the way. If you want to keep it just like this, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think it would look a little bit better if we were to texture it a little bit. So just remove some of these blocks, kind of maybe like this to start off with. And we can add some andesite in here, maybe some stone bricks, maybe a little bit of cobble. Maybe we can even just have a slab, so something like so. And then maybe we can just destroy a smaller shape, just leading down this way. And maybe we can just do the same, so just like a bit of cobble, some smooth stone, a little bit of andesite, something like this. I think it makes sense for the center of the road should be probably more damaged. Like, when I say the center, so the parts where the vehicles would be driving the most, so like where the treads and tracks and tires would hit the road would be more worn, I would think. So like as we approach off to the sides in the middle, kind of like this, I think that that looks good, just like so. And I think that the kind of like this entrance area would get like a lot of wear, so it'd probably be more worn out at the entrance than anywhere, because you'd have a lot of traffic moving down here. So something like this, and we don't have to go absolutely crazy with it. So something like this, and I'm just going to keep doing this. But you guys know what to do. Just keep adding some more texture in the form of all of these different blocks, And I'm sure they'll end up looking good. I feel as though that I wish that I just had just some more blocks, like I wish I would have picked out. It makes sense that some of it is like oil stained and stuff as well. So like just a stark like cyan terracotta would make sense as well. Like a cyan terracotta or some of the powders or something would look good too. IMO. Kind of just tried to randomize this a little bit, so let's see how it looks. But you guys have seen what happens when I try and randomize stuff. Try and be a bit sparing. How does that look? Does it look okay? Maybe. Sometimes less is more as well. Like, we don't need like loads and loads and loads. We could even add some like darker, so some like wooden slabs to kind of like emulate some like missing parts of the road where like the dirt has kind of like taken some of the road and stuff. So, you know, it doesn't have to be all like perfectly uniform. Like this isn't a nice smooth like city road. This is, you know. So, now that we have the road, we can add a fence all the way around our build. We are going to start out by removing 2 rows of grass along the right side of our entrance road. And we are going to keep removing until we are in this position. So we are 3 rows away from the end of the grid here, just like so. And then we are going to fill all of this in with a mixture of podzol and coarse dirt. Don't worry too much about texturing all of these little random bits of the junkyard. Later on we will overhaul the entire floor area, so now that we have replaced those 2 rows, we are going to start digging across the front of the build. So we're going to dig all the way across to this right side here, and we are going to replace all of this with coarse dirt. So just like so, we should be 2 rows away from these skips and 2 rows away from the bins. We are now going to dig and remove the grid, extending all the way to the very back of it. And we are going to dig and remove the grid, extending all the way across the back. And then we are going to dig forwards. So we want to stop in the same place that we stopped on the opposite side. So just to remind you, we can actually see it over there, but we should be 3 rows away from the end. So like 1, 2, 3, and then we can start digging back on ourselves like this, and you can see how we've lined up. And then we can remove 2 rows of grass along the inside here. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of podzol. So yeah, that looks good. There we go. So a bit of podzol just either side of the road, because we'll be placing some plants and stuff on it later. So some ferns, some large ferns, some grass, that sort of stuff. So there we go. So that's nice coarse dirt. And we can backfill everything that we have just removed as well with coarse dirt. So this will be the boundary for the build. And this is where we are going to be placing the actual like fence. I keep saying a wall around the building. It is a wall effectively, but it's basically just a giant chain link fence at the end of the day. So for the chain link fence, we will place 1, 2, 3 stone brick wall here on this corner of the boundary, and 1, 2, 3 here, just like this, and 1, 2, 3 here as well, and then on these corners 1, 2, 3, and the back corners as well, 1, 2, 3, and lastly 1, 2, 3. So those are posts for the fence, We also have some fence that extends in along the side of our road as well. However, should we add posts for these? It makes sense to, doesn't it? So we'll leave one row here on the end, and then we'll place 1, 2, 3 stone brick wall here, 1, 2, 3 stone brick wall here, and then we can just kind of like connect all of this together. And I would like to place at least like one row of iron bars just for the actual like base of the fence, and then we can add the other 2 rows on top, or maybe just 1 row. I did have a suggestion as well from somebody. So I was kind of curious at one point in time what I should add to the junkyard, and I had a bunch of awesome suggestions, loads and loads of suggestions, and one of them was to add barbed wire to the top of the fence, which I really liked the idea of, but in practicality it didn't end up looking good. And there's a few ways to do it. You can use candles to kind of like make a spiky fence, but it doesn't really look barbed wiry. You can use the good old-fashioned cobweb, but it looked a little bit silly, to be honest, because there was too much of it. We could always try and add some in a lesser amount, so that might look good. And then I saw that somebody actually found a way to use coral for the top of the fence. So we're just going to stack these iron bars up on top of the previous iron bars. And like I said, either 2 or 3 rows. We'll have a look at what 2 looks like, but it's probably going to be 3. And I saw that somebody actually used coral for the actual like barbed wire for a fence. I'm not really sure how they did it, because I don't think you can place it on top of this, but it looked cool regardless. So if you can, I mean, if you know better than me, I think it was specifically the dead or the brain, there we go. I think it was this one. Yeah, maybe, unless, do you have to crouch? No. Well, somebody managed to do it and it looked cool anyway. So if you know how to do that, maybe give that a try. But I think that we're probably just going to stick with the good old iron bars. Yeah, so this is what it looks like with just 2 rows all the way around, which looks alright. So let's try adding some cobweb. So, like I said, like this, I think, looks a bit... So, what if we placed it every other block? Okay, why don't we try that? So, if we just place cobweb... I'm not sure this even works out, to be honest. Okay, luckily it does. I'm not sure it will for the sides. That I actually like. Okay, this might be the way. Maybe we can just have it on these outer walls. Maybe we can just have cobweb on like the outer parts. Maybe we don't need it on the inner rows. Have I done it wrong on this side, or that's weird? I guess it is shorter on this side. But I suppose it doesn't really matter necessarily. So let's see. Because it is barbed wire after all, it doesn't have to look 100% uniform. I actually do like this. So, okay, they're your options, guys. Either add another row of iron bars, which is perfectly fine, but barbed wire, I think, thematically, works nicely. So, it's up to you which you choose. Kind of makes a satisfying sound. I never realised I liked the sound of cobweb being placed. Yeah, it doesn't really line up perfectly, but I like it. You may or may not. It's completely up to you. I don't think I'm going to place it like along the inside here. I think what I will do is just place higher bars maybe. So I kind of liked it just being a bit lower as well, but we'll hide the bars. I may also just experiment, but I think it's nice to have a little bit of variety as well. That looks good. Next, we are just going to make a sign for the junkyard. To do this, we will place 2 additional rows of stone brick wall here and here, with purple terracotta in front, and then we'll just join together across the top like this. So that's perfect. You can also hire this as well, but regardless, we will throw down a loom, open it up. We are going to literally just write out the words junkyard in letters using banners. So white banner, black die, first letter is J. So that's the pale sinister pattern and the base. Next is U. So pale dexter, pale sinister and base. Next is N. This is the pale dexter, pale sinister and bend. Next is K. So pale dexter and then bend and bend sinister. Next is Y. So this is the bend pattern. Put white die in there, apply the perfess inverted pattern, black die back in, and then the bend sinister pattern. Next is A. This is pale dexter, pale sinister, sheath, and fess. Next is R. This is the pale dexter, sheath, and then bend pattern. Lastly is D. This is pale sinister, put white die in, apply the lozenge pattern, put black die in, and then sheath, base, and then pale dexter. And then we can take all of these. And I'm realizing that this should at the very least be 1 row higher, I think. At the very least, just 1 row, I think will look a little bit better. There we go. And then we can put J-U-N-K space way, Y-A-R-D. I just invented a brand new letter. Way. And then I do like the idea of, well, first of all, maybe we don't need to add an extra wall. That looks fine like that. I do like the idea of adding some, like, slabs, like, above and below. Makes it look a little bit more robust, I think. Last thing, we are just going to remove the first 2 rows of the build here. And I'm just going to add a walkway, so that can look however you like. It can be smooth stone, it can be stone, it can be dirt, it can be whatever. You don't even necessarily need this if you don't want to, but I just thought, for the sake of integrating this into like a city with pathways and pavements, we're just adding a couple of rows of stone here just to tie everything together. Although, in all likelihood, I haven't yet picked out where this is going to go in the city. It's going to be in a more rural area, so it might not even matter that much. But still, I like the fact that, there we go, it looks a little bit better this way, in my opinion. Honestly, guys, this is shaping up so nicely. This looks awesome. We have a lot more structure now. We have our pavement, we have our roads, we have our walls, we even have a sign, for goodness sake. I mean, what more could we need? And on top of that, the right side of the junkyard looks fantastic. Which means it's now time for us to turn our attention to the left side. So, following the road all the way over to the left side of the junkyard, extending from the front left-hand side of the road, we count 1, 2 rows towards the fence. We then place a smooth red sandstone with an orange terracotta to the left, smooth red sandstone to the left of that, and then a slab to the left of them. To the right of the smooth red sandstone, we place 3 slabs, smooth red sandstone, orange terracotta, smooth red sandstone, and then a slab, just like this. We extend the terracottas up by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we place a smooth sandstone on top. 1, 2, 3. And then smooth sandstone. Just like this. On the outer rows of the orange terracotta, we place a polished blackstone wall here, and here, here, and here. And we join the walls together using end rods. I'm not sure that I've even mentioned what we're making. We're making everybody's favourite, a car crusher. So from here, we are now going to place another smooth red sandstone on top of our wall, just like this. We are going to connect this sandstone left to right, like so, this inner row at the top. We are then going to flip up some waxed copper trapdoors in this position, just like this. And then we are going to place a row of smooth red sandstone slabs extending across the top of what we have just made, like this. And then along the inside or outer rows of the orange terracotta, depending on how you look at it, we will have a red sandstone wall here, 2 end rods on top, and then another wall, just like so. And then we want to have the exact same thing on this opposite side. So wall, end rods, wall, just like this. We are then going to place, extending from this position, cyan terracotta, 2 polished tuff, cyan terracotta, and we are going to extend each one of these blocks to the opposite side, just like this. And we will dig in the ground, and we will place cyan terracotta here at the edges, and we need the polished tuff stairs here, and we can use the upside down blocks here. And we want the same thing on the opposite side, so stairs, upside down blocks here. We can have the cyan terracotta here. Maybe we could even just add an additional block like this. And we want to add rails. I think that the additional terracotta looks better. And then we can add rails along the side here, just like so. And I don't know why I've been avoiding this, but we now have to copy this onto this side. So to do this, we'll place a smooth red sandstone here, sandstone block to the left, orange terracotta here, sandstone block, 1, 2, 3 slabs, sandstone, orange terracotta, sandstone, and then a slab. And then we can extend the orange terracottas each up by 3 to match the opposite side, and then a sandstone on top, just like so. We then want to extend the sandstone outwards, just like this, and then we have to get the wall back and place a polished blackstone wall here and here, with end rods in between, and here, with end rods in between. We also want to connect this together, so just left to right with a row of slabs, and we can add another row of slabs on top of the outer row that just pokes out 1 row either side. Then we can place the trapdoors that flip up here. We also want to extend the slabs, by the way, on the outer sides, so that maybe just across the top. I don't want it to poke out too much. So we'll extend these slabs so that they extend across the top of the walls. We also have to place red sandstone walls here and here with end rods in between them. And here, end rods in between. And we've almost finished, guys. So after this, we're just going to add... We just have to add a top to this, basically. And we're just going to use something like deep slate tile slab, or like polished blackstone slab. So I'm thinking we try some deep slate, and we're just going to fill the very top of this in to provide a little bit of color contrast. There we go, that looks nice, and that is what we're after. So this is the car crushing machine. It's just occurred to me that there should be a control panel. So we're going to place a cyan terracotta here, polished andesite stair here, painting here, and then a lever here. So that's just a small control panel. We could also just add like a polished andesite slab and like a rail here as well. So just for an additional... I think that looks pretty good. I think that it'd be cool to also include a car in the machine as well. So I'm just going to place 4 magenta wool, 1, 2, 3, 4, here in the middle of the machine. Extend this back row up, glass here, carpet on top, and then just headlights on the front. And there we go, now it is ready to be crushed. But of course, do feel free to put any vehicle on there. You can remove the rails if need be, and you can actually get some really quite tall vehicles. You should be able to get pretty much almost anything that's, you know, reasonable in there. Next, we are going to add a tyre pile. As you might imagine, we have a load of crushed cars, and therefore a load of tyres. Come all the way over to the front left-hand corner of the fence, and we want to count inwards diagonally to position this. We want to count 1, including the fence, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, we are going to place one of these kinds of blocks. So these are, we want black blocks or dark grey, and they want to be textured as well. So any of these look really good. Black stone, black concrete powder, polished black stone, black wool, black shulker blocks, deep slate, and just polished deep slate. And there's more as well, but we'll place one of these, and then behind it, another block. To the left, another. Then we extend up by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just alternating these. And then in 1, back 1, right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1, right 1. Down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left 1, down 1. And then just connect back like this. So I've not been doing a very good job of like alternating the blocks. I've kind of literally just been placing them like in the pattern that they are in the inventory, but there we go, that's a nice base. And then on top of these, I'm going to try my best to, so we want to stack these. This is a tyre pile, right? It doesn't really want to look particularly pretty, so we just need to create like a big pile. And that's all there is to it. I reckon I'm going to save some spots around the pile, and I'm going to add some slabs as well. So these tyres, I know that tyres don't really like decompose, I don't think, or at least not at any rate that they would in a junkyard, especially without any outside influence. Again, I don't think. But I think that they would be in various cases of damage. So we've placed that, and then we can have some buttons kind of just on top of some of these to demonstrate that these are like tyres. So I think that that looks okay. Now I've just grabbed some slabs to kind of like try, once again, just to mix things up a little bit. So I'm trying to be a bit sparing. Like I don't want to use too many of these. But again, to kind of get the feeling that this is like a big heap, I think that that looks good. And if you want to go Simpson style, you can set it on fire as well. Although I wouldn't, it's not good for the environment. Although I might actually legitimately just have like a campfire in here just as a Simpsons reference. We also have to place a fence around this. So I'm just going to place oak planks, or any solid block will also do. Just to kind of like gauge where this is going to be. So like this is the perimeter that I want around the tyres. I want like one entire row, or 2 entire rows including the planks. And then I'm going to apply spruce trapdoors to the planks. And then I'm going to add a layer of spruce trapdoors on top. It might even be easier to place 2 rows of planks and then clad them with the spruce trapdoors and then remove the planks, or at least it'll be easier for me, especially since I've kind of like boxed myself in with the fence as well. So I think that this will just be a tad bit easier. There we go. And then we can just flip these all up, get them into position, and then I'll get rid of the oak planks. The only thing I don't like about the campfire is the sound, but that's okay, we're not going to be in this area very often. So there we go, perfect. Car crusher, tyre pile, what are we missing? Crushed cars. So, I'm going to make a few varieties of this. I'm going to start with some like freshly crushed cars. So they're still nice and colourful, they've not rusted, they're in alright condition, apart from the fact that they've been crushed. So, to do this, most of my cars in this city are kind of like that style that you can see there. 4 rows long, 2 rows high, bit of carpet, some glass. So kind of like keeping in line with this, I'm using those kinds of dimensions and stacking that dimension, so like 2 by 4. I'm kind of like trying to keep that, and I'm stacking all of that shape together in kind of like this condensed ball, if that makes sense. So like I don't even want to tell you specifically where to place blocks. I kind of want, so like this is meant to look like just a bunch of crushed up cars. So freshly crushed up cars. Like these they were on the road one second ago, and then before you know it, or not even necessarily crushed up, kind of just like they could have been in an accident. They can just be kind of like, you know, suffered some damage. They've been written off. Like nobody wants them. So I've created a stack here, and I think that this looks pretty good. So if you create just a pile using your favorite walls or concretes or whatever like this, and add a bit of glass kind of like about the place, and some buttons where you would expect to find buttons, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can even leave chunks out of them and what have you. I think that looks pretty cool. And then later on, we're going to have a bulldozer that is going to be like condensing these cars together. But whilst we do have a nice fresh pile here, over in this direction we are going to have some less fresh piles. So the colour palette we're using to achieve this: waxed oxidized copper, weathered copper, exposed copper, dark prismarine, red sandstone, and some nether bricks. And of course you can just keep going down the spectrum. You can include any sort of like reddy brown block, any sort of like rusty, dirty looking block works perfectly. And I should also say, so these cars are being crushed, right? So sometimes these will be crushed into cubes. So if you'd like, you can have like cubes kind of like about the place as well, and it won't always be the same dimension. Like you can have smaller cubes and you can have larger cubes, and you can use these in conjunction with kind of like this little car pile here, and you can kind of like join them together, and you can have like different vehicles that would have been crushed as well. So, or different vehicles that once again weren't necessarily crushed, but they were like smashed up in an accident or whatever, and you know, so like this would kind of looks like the front of a lorry, the actual driving part of a lorry. We can add a vehicle that would be a bit more like a van, so something like this. We can add here. We can add different kinds of vehicles on top, so we can just add like another car again, and this is perhaps as high as the pile goes. We can add, again, just more cars in different orientations like this, and we want to keep like messing about with all of the materials. So we always try and place a contrast material. So if you see that we've got like the nether bricks here, throw in some weathered copper. If you see that we've got some exposed copper, you know, weathered copper works as well, or maybe some smooth red sandstone, or, you know, whatever it is. So like here, some waxed oxidized copper would look very good, I think, and maybe we can have it so that maybe it's a bit higher, maybe it's orientated this way so that the car's kind of like straight up, and there we go, and we can have a bit of glass just like this. So just like a nice weathered pile like so, and we can add more and more detail to this later. We can, of course we can add the item frames too, so wherever it would make sense. So like this, and we can add different buttons, so for different like parts of the car that might have survived, so whether they might be indicators or blinker lights, or, you know, whatever you want to call them, we can add stuff like that. And again, variety is kind of like the name of the game, so we've just got a bunch of blocks here, and we can have just some smaller little scrap blocks like this. And do you know what looks good as well is end rods or lightning rods. So like these look good where like if to kind of like represent that we're like missing a wheel. So again, something like this. So like there's a tyre that's went missing or a wheel that's went missing or something like that. And furnaces, of course, like for engine blocks or whatever. And the same thing for ladders. Ladders look good. So it's really about like this might have started off like looking a bit simple, a bit too basic, but once you do start like adding more and more detail and really like getting in there, it does start to look really, really good. And of course we can just add the same varieties of slabs too. Like you really can't go wrong with any of the copper family. So we can just place a couple of these. And again, do you know what looks good as well? Like, so obviously for some mossy blocks wouldn't look too bad either. And the granite blocks as well for just little dropped bits. So like we can use slabs to build this up too, and maybe a little bit of cardboard. We don't want to go too crazy with this. I think that that honestly looks really good, and when we start scaping the ground around this will look really good as well, and we'll have a bulldozer here. But do feel free to keep modifying it, but that's just like a pile of cars condensed into each other. The left side of the junkyard is looking really cool. So now I think that we are going to turn our attention towards the back. More specifically, the back right hand corner. So all the way over here, we are going to come to the corner of the fence and count inwards diagonally 1, 2, 3. So here we will place an anvil, and to the left of it 5 red terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then another anvil, and then 3 red terracotta going this way. 1, 2, 3. Anvil on the end. Same row of red terracotta here. Anvil on the end, and then red terracotta just like that. And then we are going to stack 2 rows of red terracotta on top of not only the pre-existing red terracotta that we have, but also on top of the anvils as well. So just like this. We're then going to place mangrove slabs all the way around the top of this. And we are going to place a row of cobblestone wall in the top like this. It might even be a good idea to line the base of this with cyan terracotta, like so. And then we can add, I think it goes this way. We can add 2 rows of stairs, so this way and this way, like so. So they kind of almost look like blades or teeth. This is the car grinder, or rather just like metal grinder. I didn't know that these things existed, but check them out on YouTube. They're very cool. They really do just shred like an actual car to pieces. It's insane, really. So this is where the car gets dropped into and ground up, but it needs a place to come out. So on the side here, we will place a red terracotta in this position, and we will remove this block, and we'll place 1, 2 mangrove slabs here, 1, 2 mangrove slabs here, and then we will connect them together at the end, and we'll place 1, 2 slabs here, 1, 2 slabs here, and then we will place mangrove slab here, and also just underneath, so like this. And then we are able to, I think we can replace that block? No. So we can then just place stairs extending up out of here. I think we've got to turn this into a solid block. There we go. And that's perfect. So whatever gets crushed up, or ground up rather, shredded into gravel, gets kind of conveyor belted up and out into a skip. But before we make that, on the side here, we are going to place a cyan terracotta here and here, stone stair here, we're going to have a lever here, rail here, painting here, and then just a stone button here. And as I said, this all gets like thrown out into something, so that something for us is going to be a skip. You can either place it like right next to it, or we can just leave a gap, because I think that the gap looks a little bit better. So we'll place 1, 2, 3 yellow terracotta here, with a bamboo fence gate either side, and then we will place 1, 2, 3 yellow terracotta, 1, 2, 3 bamboo fence gate, 1, 2, 3 like this, dark prismarine slabs here, yellow terracotta here, extend over just like so. So this is a slightly larger skip than we have all the way over on that side of the build. And then inside of here would be freshly destroyed cars. So it's kind of up to you, like, what you think that that might look like. I mean, you can actually check quite easily on YouTube, but I think that a nice little variety. I'm starting off by placing just a load of this kind of like copper, but I think that if we place a little variety in here, because it could kind of represent the fact that we have different aging times, so like it wouldn't necessarily be like all the same. I don't think that looks bad. I think maybe just one of these just to cap it off, and I think that that looks pretty decent. Perhaps a button or two might improve things. Yeah, that looks good. So whatever your interpretation of like a shredded up card, that's just a bunch of metal. I think that works for me. And next to this skip, we are going to have just a giant pile of scrap metal. And to kind of like position this, we want to take the middle of the skip here, and we'll leave a gap of like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll place a row of 3 blocks of iron here. And then we'll place 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 1 here, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 here. So we're just creating a circle like this, and we don't have to stick to this sort of shape. And I'm just going to fill this in with some waxed exposed cut copper. We're going to kind of use this as a base, and we kind of want to make a similar sort of pile shape as the tires, so something like this, right? And I think it's easier to start off with something like this and kind of like build from it, right? So we kind of want a shape. It wants to look really, really super messy. And this is the sort of shape that we're looking for, kind of like a pile like so. And now I'm going to start just like replacing some of the blocks. And this is literally, so we want any sort of metal thing that would make sense in this pile, right? It doesn't matter if there's duplicates. It doesn't matter what you use, but we want just like a big giant pile of any sort of metal, whether that's rusty, whether that's fresh metal, whatever, in this pile. So I need to grab some different things because I think that we're okay with all of this. You know, the ores might actually look good as well, because they kind of look like just broken down bits of stuff. And I really like the grates as well. So, like, I think that the grates can... I think they're great. But seriously, I think that the grates just look really good because of the texture of them. I think that they kind of just go a long way, you know? Like, anything that's kind of, like, heavily textured... We can even just have doors in here too, why not? Anything that's kind of, like, heavily textured, like, it's a bit more interesting on the eyeballs. And just some like doors stacked up in piles, and we can have just more of these as well. Again, we can have some more like fresh copper too, but I think that looks pretty good, and we can have just like a couple of buttons as well. That's not looking too bad. What about some like chain? And what about like some lightning rods kind of just stuck out in just random places? Brown candles as well for some reason, maybe? That doesn't look too bad. I mean, what if we stack up a little bit like this? Maybe that actually doesn't look bad at all, and it will look even better once we texture the ground around it. For a trash pile, I think that looks pretty decent. Joining the fun across the bank fence, we are going to have a couple of dilapidated vehicles. The first of which is a truck. So we want to leave a gap of 4 somewhere left of the pile, like here will do. So the sort of front left-hand side-ish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we will place a spruce plank. To the left of it, a blast furnace, and then another plank. And then behind those planks, we will place spruce stairs. And then we will place planks behind those stairs. And then we'll join them together at the back. we'll extend that back row of planks up, spruce stairs on top, and then we'll extend some of these slabs forwards, kind of like this. We'll have one glass here, glass pane here, glass pane here, and now we'll start destroying this a little bit. So like, I think we'll remove this block, and we'll stick a lightning rod here. So this is looking pretty decent. And then behind this, we'll just have like another row of slabs, just like so. And then I think that that looks pretty good. So that's like the front of a truck. That looks great. So now that we've done that, we are going to leave a gap of, let's say, so from about here, we'll leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we want to place a waxed exposed cut copper. And then left of this, 3 exposed copper, 1, 2, 3. Leave a gap and then 3 more, 1, 2, 3. We will extend this block up, this block up, this block up, and then this block up. This actually wants to be an upside down stair with an exposed copper on top. We can then place a row of copper stairs across the top, just like so. And then we can add a row of waxed exposed copper extending towards the back of the build with stairs on the opposite side. And then we can copy what we have done on this opposite side, so we can have the exposed copper in the exact same place. The only difference being is we don't want to have a door on this side, so we're just going to leave it like this. And then the upside down stairs here. And then we might take it one step further. We might add another stairs here, and then maybe like turn one to the side here and have like a glass here, something like so. And then we can seal up the back of this, so just with some exposed copper. And then we can add an upside down stair here, copper here, extend out. And then we can add, we need the slabs, so a waxed exposed copper slab here, and then an upside down stair here, exposed copper here, and then we're just going to add a slab here, just like so, so kind of like the tail of a plane. And we also have to add a wing as well, so the wing is just 2 rows of 2 exposed copper like this, here, and then we just want to wrap some stairs around here. So this is the, I might be getting this word wrong for planes because I'm not really like a plane guy, but I think like most of the fuselage for a plane and just like a bit of the wing and a bit of the tail and a little bit of the cockpit as well, but not really too much of it. So that's a pretty cool set of vehicles you have along the back. I think that we should probably add to our vehicle collection. So to the left of our warehouse here, we are going to make a school bus. So starting from the front left hand corner, we're going to count and find the 4th block. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we want to place a smooth stone slab just levitating off the ground. We'll extend left, 1, 2, 3. We'll place a black concrete extending back from either side. And then 4 more slabs, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then black concrete. And then 2 more, 1, 2 smooth stone slabs, 1, 2 smooth stone slabs. That I did not even, that is a tongue twister. So we can then fill the center of that in with smooth stone slabs and then add stone buttons to the sides of the black concretes. We can then add yellow terracotta all the way around the edge of our vehicle, leaving a gap right about here. We can then add ladders to the front of the vehicle with item frames either side. We are then going to place an additional row of yellow terracotta along the inside here with glass pane here. We'll add black concrete behind the left and right glass panes, and then extending across the side of the bus here we'll have a glass pane, black concrete, pane, concrete, glass, concrete. We'll have 2 glass across the back for the back window. And then black concrete here, pane, concrete, pane, concrete. And this is where the door would be, but I think that we're going to leave the door off of it. And we're going to give it a roof by just placing yellow terracotta extending from across the windshield just all the way back like so. And we'll have item frames here, oak signs here, just like so. We'll add some acacia buttons to the side. The bus in this condition is in pretty decent condition, I will say. And you can keep it like this if you like. I think I'm going to leave it in relatively nice condition. And then we can have red concrete here in the 2 upper item frames. And then inside the bus, we'll have a stone stair here, end rod here, oak trapdoor on top, lever here, lever gap, stone stair, and then stone stairs across the back, just like this. And I think that this is how we'll keep it. I quite like the school bus in the condition that it's in. Yeah, if you want to rough it up a little bit, you absolutely can, but I'm going to keep it as it is. To the left of the school bus, we are going to make a pickup truck. We simply have to leave a gap of 2 left of this wheel, so 1, 2, and then in the air, we are just going to have a floating smooth stone slab, which will extend left 2. And then add a black concrete behind the 2 side smooth stone slabs. Then one in the middle. Add a row of smooth stone behind. And then blast furnace here. Polished andesite stair here. And red wool around this. Glow item frames here, just like so. And then glass here. Extend across the top of the blast furnace like so. Red wool here. And this is where string would come in handy a little bit. I don't think we need glass anymore, so we can just add a string above this, and we can just add the carpet. That is perfect. I'm realizing that it doesn't make sense for there to be glow item frames. I think regular item frames will do, and then we can just add stone buttons to the sides, just like this. Notice that this is, once again, it's in pretty decent condition, so do feel free to rough it up a little bit. We are now going to extend this block here in the middle backwards by 5 using polished tough slab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll extend left and right by 1, just like this. 2 black concrete extending forwards like so. Stone buttons aside the black concrete, just like this. So for this next part, it's actually easier if we have a solid block to place onto. So I'm just going to place some red wool like this, and then some oak trapdoors along the back, kind of flipped up like so. And then some spruce trapdoors flipped up along the sides. So then we can remove these, and then we can... Okay, this is where it came back to bite me. We need string for this part. I guess I was wrong, so we need some string for these bits here, and then we can just fill the bed of the truck in using light grey carpet, then add a couple of item frames like this, and there we have a nice pickup truck. So, behind the pickup truck, we are going to make a little minivan. We want to leave a gap of 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then place a row of 1, 2, 3 green concrete, or any colour of concrete that you like. We will stick a ladder in front of the middle block, and then item frames either side. Then we'll stick glass on top of this with a row of quartz slab across the top of that. We can then place 1, 2 oak stairs backwards like this, and we can extend the sides of the green concrete back 1, 2, 3, and we can just wrap around the stairs like so. It might even make more sense to, instead of having 2 stairs, to have like a stairs and then maybe like a chest or something like that. I think might look good. And then behind the glass we will have a white concrete powder, glass, white concrete powder, glass at the back, and then we can just extend some quartz slab across the back like this, and then you can have either stone buttons for wheels, or you can use oak trapdoors. In this case, I would use oak trapdoors, and that's a really simple, tiny little minivan, which we're now just going to destroy some of. So let's get rid of this, we'll take the seat out, we'll have a chest in here because that's kind of fun. We'll remove one of the wheels, maybe even another wheel. Let's grab the lightning rod here, and oh, that fell, but that's okay. That looks fine. And yeah, actually, we'll have that, right? And then we'll have we'll use a bit of glass pane instead, and I think that'll probably do us. And we can even have it like, we could even use a little bit of, I keep doing that, a bit of the like weathered copper just to show a little bit of aging. We could even use some different terracottas as... I've got to stop doing it. A little bit of terracotta as well. polished diorite to show some like roof degradation, and I think that looks pretty good. And next to the minivan, we will leave a gap of 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to have a motorcycle. So this is a black concrete, smooth quartz stair, light blue concrete, black concrete, and then just levers either side like this. And I think maybe the way these are kind of like hard to mess up, right? Because there's not much to them, but maybe if we have like a kind of like weathered set of wheels, maybe we're missing one of these levers, and maybe the seat's gone, so we just have like a rail here, so we'd probably want something underneath this, like a cyan terracotta. So there we have kind of like a broken down sort of bike. Maybe even a different block here. Would warped wart look good for this? I think it might actually. Yeah, that looks pretty decent to me. And just next to this, we're going to have like my standard car. So we'll leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, and then we will have 4 rows of the exposed cut copper. Extend these blocks up, and then we're not going to bother giving it windows. Going to remove where one of the wheels are, chuck a lightning rod here instead. I think that we'll put like a granite slab here. We'll remove the front of the body. We'll just have like granite here. Maybe like we'll remove this as well, and then maybe like the back, and we'll just have a sub. So like the car's degraded so much that it's almost like just a puddle of just like rusted metal. I think maybe if we just stick an item frame on here just to complete the effect, I think that looks alright. So originally, I was just going to keep repeating variations of these vehicles, extending across to the side of the junkyard, but I think it would be fun to have a little bit more variation. So leaving a gap of, let's go 2, so 1, 2 from this car, and maybe we'll just go 1 row forward as well. We are going to place a stone slab in the air, extend right 2, then we will place a black concrete behind the 2 side slabs, fill the middle bit in, add 2 rows of slabs extending back, black concrete on both sides, fill the middle bit in, add another row behind, just like this, and then we will add 2 rows of green shulker boxes at the front, and we will add 2 rows at the back, but we want to stick a cauldron in the middle. Then we want a set of spruce stairs curving around like this, and an oak trapdoor flipped up here. We also want some stone buttons on the wheels, and we also want some item frames at the front, so on the front 2 corners. We also want some acacia buttons. I guess these can go at the front and the back, just on the sides. This is a pretty big vehicle in comparison to my usual car. And then we are going to add some glass pane just atop here, and a lever here. We actually need the buttons as well, so we'll stick one here. In addition to this, chain here. Oh, got a crouch. Chain with a lightning rod on top. And this is just like an army-style Jeep. If you wanted to, you can even drop this 1 row lower into the ground if you do think that this is a little too big. But I think that it's cool that it's actually a little bit bigger, to be honest. But you could certainly make it a bit smaller if you wanted to. And you can rough this up if you like, but I think I'm going to leave this in pretty good condition because it's kind of hidden. So I think that it's kind of like a cool thing to have just laying around. Okay. Last vehicle. The last vehicle that we are going to make is a helicopter. So this requires a little bit more room. We'll probably make it about here. So if we say line up with the edge of this container, come to the corner of the warehouse, and then step backwards like 1, 2 blocks. So about here, we will place a row of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smooth stone slabs, and then extend this one and this one upwards. Leave a gap of 1 and then do the exact same thing. So we now have the feet of the helicopter, or whatever you'd call them. We are then going to place red wool across the top of this. So we want to make a 3x3 square on top of the feet or the legs. Then extend 1 row forwards. And then 2 rows of tinted glass just on top of the front here. We are then just going to add wool just all the way around these sides, just like this. Then we are going to make the tail. So it'll be here. Place an entire row of 3 just extending across the middle of the back here. And then we'll extend the upper block up and the bottom block actually. Then we'll extend the middle block out. 1, 2. And that might be good. We'll do 2. And then we'll place 2 smooth stone slabs like this. And then we'll place some oak trap doors flipped up around like this. So that is the tail rotor. I'm not a helicopter guy, I don't know what to call that thing. So we now want to make the actual helicopter blade. We'll have a piston here, and then something to power the piston. Like, it doesn't really matter what we use. Let's just break in. It doesn't really matter what we use exactly. A redstone torch will just work fine for my liking. And then we can place a smooth stone slab here. So depending upon how difficult you want to make this on yourself, you can place either like slabs, like extending from here, like you can double up on that and then you can just have like slabs in every direction, or alternatively, the cleaner way of doing it, and it looks a little bit better in my opinion, is to have, and we need some carpet for this too, some red carpet, to make the actual like blades of the helicopter, we have to string the top of the cab and add just carpet all the way around the top here. And then we want to have 4 blades, of course, just extending all the way around the side. So the blades are made of 3 rows of grey carpet and then 1 light grey on the very end. So 1, 2, 3. So we just have to add 3 blocks. So we already have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. And then it will go 2, 3. So we'll place light grey carpet here. Okay, that is fantastic. So this is the helicopter. So originally, I did design it so that you can get up inside of this if you wanted to. So like, if you were so inclined, you can like stick a seat here, or maybe you can even stick a seat here. And like, if you just combine the front set of legs together, you can even add like a lever so that you can make pretend that you're controlling the helicopter if you do so wish. You can even stick a door on it too. So the door would go, it'd just go right here. I was trying to place it backwards for some reason. And that's all there is to it. And we can just stick a couple of item frames here. And this is just like a straight up helicopter, so we can have either a helicopter like in it's just nice normal condition like this, or if you wanted to rough it up a little bit, kind of like the plane, you certainly can. But I think I'm just going to keep it like this for now, because once again, like, it's kind of hidden, right? So I kind of it's kind of hidden, but no, I like the idea of there just being like weird just a helicopter and a jeep back here that are just in like full working condition. I think it's kind of fun. The next thing we are going to do is pick some strategic locations that we can add some stacks of cars. I don't think that we can have a junkyard without some car stacks. And there's a few different ways to do this, so let's pick the first one. So the first way that we can stack cars, and we're kind of going with the usual, like the 4x2 method for the car, right? The usual way we can stack cars, we kind of did it over there actually, is we can, using those dimensions, the 4x2, we can kind of like blend some cars together that have clearly like been crushed on top of each other, and we just keep placing them in different directions. And after we've kind of like figured out the sort of like shape of this pile, so to speak, then we can also we can like add some in the middle as well, and we can like have them like extend out in this way, and you can just have like a random block here and there. We could even have like, what's a nice colour that we've not used quite, a bit of grey like here at the bottom too. So we can just have like and I think we've got to go back to these colours. So we just want to stack this up like this, and it can go literally as high as you want. So I'm just going to literally just cut myself off there because, you know, why not? So in amongst all of this, we would also have some item frames and some glass, both glass block and glass pane, and we would have some buttons for the wheels. So like, just kind of like randomly, we'll just apply some of this. So there'd be like crushed glass here, there'd be like a regular glass there, they'd be in like certain misshapes. Surrounding this would probably be other things as well. Like, it's really up to you, like how far you want to go with like the amount of decoration, like here. So there we go. I don't think that looks too bad. And another option, of course, is like if some of them have lost wheels, or if you want to apply like proper wheels to them, like you can you can always do like something like that, and there's always furnaces and anvils and what have you. So like just to keep it like interesting. There we go, and you can keep going with that. I mean, you can literally just keep repeating that. You can make it as high as you want. You can spread it out as far as you want, and you can do as much of that as you would like. Another option for over here as well is, of course, just to place some more cubes of cars. So just like random little cubes, just kind of like spread throughout the junkyard is also a thing, and kind of like just random, like. It would kind of be expected that it's kind of like messy, so just random, any of these blocks, kind of like just, even just like stuck up in the ground, you know, like, or maybe just in the corner somewhere, like, just random bits of just debris would be 100% expected to be anywhere. So I think that looks pretty good. So now that we have made this variety of like car stack, I also have another suggestion for you as well. So we don't necessarily have to make it as messy as this, and I'm just going to remove this and this. We don't have to make it as messy as this. We can literally just stack just a few cars on top of each other, and they can be really uniform. So we can just have like the 4x2 like this, and then the top one is just like a regular car like so, and they can all have their wheels like this, and they can all have... like, maybe some of them are missing, so something like that. But, you know, we can just have, like, a stack of cars like this. And we can have, like, we can have them facing the other way, too. So, you know, like, depending upon how messy you want to get this. I mean, I don't really want to. So, maybe we'll just have, like, one here. Also, like, I don't necessarily want to keep, like, repeating the exact same design. But something like this. And... this, so just a couple more stacks. Again, like, you can just keep reusing these same sort of details, and we'd probably want to carpet the top of these. So it's a green and an orange. So you could use a contrast color, or you could use like a brown or something like that, and that looks perfectly fine. So like now we've got some car stacks. I'm going to move this just ever so slightly out of the way, so maybe just like here, because now we have kind of like all of the like random little bits of detail kind of like spread throughout the junkyard. As you can see, this is getting really full. We're starting to get the effect that I really want here. But now we can add some vehicles to really bring this place to life. So the first vehicle that we are going to make, if you can qualify it as a vehicle, is a crane. The crane is built all the way over here in this corner, and as you can see, I have figured out the position where we have to build it because it is a little bit specific. So the crane is going to line up with the very center of this shipping container. So we'll follow the middle of the container down to the ground here, and we'll count backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the 7th position we want to place a smooth stone block, as you can see. And we'll extend that smooth stone block backwards by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will add 2 rows to the left and 2 rows to the right of that smooth stone. We will add a row of smooth stone slabs to the front and the back, just like so. And then we will place a row of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, red sandstone wall extending up from each one of the inward corners of the stone platform that we've created. So just extending inwards diagonally by 1 on each one of the sides. We will have something that should look like this. So if we've done this successfully, we should be able to connect every other wall together, and the top row is also connected together. So that's the effect that we're looking for. If it doesn't work out this way, if you're left with something that looks like this, then simply just add another row, if that makes sense. So you can keep extending the crane up, is the point that I'm making, but you don't want this. You want this. And by the way, I've kind of made the crane the minimum height, so do feel free to make it taller. It looks fine, even bigger than it is. At the very top, we'll place grey concrete in the middle with an anvil orientated this way. We then want to place a ring of red sandstone slabs above and around the anvil. We will then extend the red sandstone slabs forwards by 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll place red sandstone stairs across the front of this. A hopper extending down from the middle, and then this is actually a little bit tricky. I've got to create a platform. We are going to place 2 chains extending down from the hopper, and I should also show you before we do this, to extend the arm of the crane, which you can certainly do by the way, you just have to once again kind of make it so that it follows this pattern. You want to be able to connect every other row together. So just theoretically here, if you did want to extend the arm of the crane, you can certainly do that. You can add more red sandstone slabs if you like, but it has to connect together like this. So the end will look like this, and then you will place red sandstone stairs across the end. And that even looks fine as it is, by the way. Like the chain of the crane, rhyme. It can like be inwards from the crane, so it can look like this, or it can look how we had it previously. So it can kind of like dangle down from the stairs. It doesn't really matter. It's more of a personal preference. So whilst we are just messing about with the top of the crane, what we will also do is extend up these blocks here, just like so. And then we also just want to extend 1 row off the back, so just like this. And there we go, so it's like counterbalanced. It might even look a little bit nicer if we have stairs across the back, and then we can have some slabs extending along here, and here, like so. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe it'd even look better if we remove this stair, put in a slab instead. And then we'll just leave the back alone actually, so that it's got a little bit of variation. So yeah, there we go. That's like the actual body of the crane, and this is the arm of the crane. And if you want, again, it's more of a personal thing. You can dangle the crane down as far down as you would like. So from here, you can extend the chain so that it seems as though it's about to pick up one of these containers. So from here, we are going to place a black concrete underneath this chain, and we'll actually place another one and extend that second block outwards by 2 in every direction. Remove the first block, and then place upside down polished blackstone stairs like this in this formation, and this simply looks like a claw. Remove this, and then levers. Actually, the levers are placed like this, and I think that this looks pretty cool. So this looks as though that it grabs these. Another option would be to either, so I'll just build this off to the side so I don't have to redo that. So we can have the black concrete, and then we could have something like this. So this would just be like a magnet. So instead of that, we just have something that resembles a magnet. Alternatively, the magnet can look like this. So we can just place stairs all the way around it, and we would literally just attach that to the chain. And we could even just add, I mean, that would look good. So that is what the magnet would look like. The chain attaches to the black concrete. There we go. And then that would just like magnetize things up, and it would pick things up instead of like crushing them with the claw. But regardless, there we go. So now we can make the cab of the crane. To begin, we will place 2 smooth quartz slab here, which we will extend backwards by 2 rows. 1, 2. And then we will place 2 rows of glass just all the way around the edge here, with smooth quartz slab underneath. And we actually want a chair in here, so a stair just like so. And it's up to you whether you want to be able to climb up into this. So this looks pretty cool by itself, right? But if you did want to, you can remove the back here. You can place a set of barriers like this, leading all the way up to this position. Set of ladders along the back of the barriers. This takes us up to the top. we actually have to be one row lower, and then we can have like a slab or a carpet or something here. So I'd probably make that black carpet, to be honest. And then if we wanted to, just use a barrier instead. There we go. So we can actually like get up into the crane if we did so choose. I'd probably use black carpet for that, but like you can have it either way. You can get up into the crane, which I think is just a lot cooler than just having the back sealed. And that is vehicle number 1, and you can see that looks really cool. The next vehicle we are going to make is in a very similar vein to the crane. It's actually kind of like a crane on wheels. I don't even really know what to call it, but we are placing it in this area here now. We don't have to be too specific, but we should probably be just at least 2 to 3 rows away from the cars. So let's try 2 rows away from the cars. And I'm going to place a row of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey concrete like this. Leave a gap of 1, and then another row of 5 grey concrete. Stone buttons along the sides of the grey concretes like this. And then polished black stone slabs in the centre. Then an anvil right in the middle. And next we are going to place 1, 2 orange terracotta in this position. We will then place 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 red sandstone wall like this, with orange terracotta extending all the way around and on top. Then a black stone wall here, orange terracotta here, then smooth red sandstone here, stair here, slab here, but easily we can place 1, 2, 3, I should say more easily, 3 orange terracotta like this, red sandstone on the end, stair here, and then smooth red sandstone just across the top. And next we are just going to dip back down to here. Next we are going to make the cab of the vehicle by placing 1, 2 smooth quartz here across the top of the anvil. We will extend forwards and backwards. We'll extend the back row up by 2, 1, 2, and then we will place a polished tough stair here, iron door here, and then 2 rows of glass here like this, and then smooth quartz slabs across the top, just like so. And then we will place a couple of acacia buttons just here at the front. Then an iron trapdoor here in front of the actual door. Ladder here, barrier here, ladder here. So you can actually get up inside of this, especially if you were to place a button on the side, which I think is pretty cool. And then from here we can basically make the same design as the crane. So hopper, and then we need a little platform. So a couple of chains, you can dangle this down further, it's kind of customizable. Black concrete underneath. And then in this case, we are making a claw, but you could also go for the magnet as well. That's also a solid option. Like I said, it's kind of like a mini version of what we've made already. So the upside down stairs facing inwards on each side. I think that's orientating the wrong way. There we go. Then we remove these blocks. And levers on the stairs facing inwards, and that's perfect. And you can have it picking up a car if you want, or I'll tell you what, we can even move this, so we can have it picking up like this little cube of weathered copper as well, whatever you like. And it's just a very cool. Oh, I'll tell you, there's a couple more details that I missed. There needs to be a lever here in this position, and there are blackstone buttons here and here. And now we can now we can take a look at it. So that is what the mini mobile crane, that's what we'll call it, the mini mobile crane should look like. Now it's time to add one of my personal favourites to our collection, the Bulldozer. We are going to place the Bulldozer over near this stack of cars, leaving a gap of 2, so 1, 2. We will place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey concrete, leave a gap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey concrete. We will then place a polished black stone slab on each one of the corners, yellow concrete extending inwards from the slabs. We will then place 3 slabs here to create the bed of the camp. We also want to place a yellow concrete here and here, ladder here, connect a yellow concrete here and across the back, polish tough stairs here, bamboo fence gate here, stone buttons along the sides of the tracks, then polished black stone wall on each one of the corners, black stained glass pane here joined together. We then will place a string on top of the stair and black carpet on top of all of the... Oh, we've got to place a string on top of the fence gate as well. So that creates the top. That looks fantastic. And then a bamboo sign here across the back. And now we will place end rods extending here and here with a row of polished andesite stairs in front of the end rods and then polished andesite slab across the top. And that is almost the bulldozer. We then just have to place a stone brick wall here, chain here, grey candle here, and that is in fact the entire bulldozer. And that looks very cool, and as you can see, it serves a nice little purpose as well. The final vehicle that we have to make is a tow truck. Now, you can place it anywhere along the road system, but I like the idea of the tow truck starting right about here, in the middle of the road, near the end of the chain link fence. So I'm going to place a row of 3 stone slab suspended up off the ground, with a black concrete extending backwards from each one of these side slabs, stone slab in the middle. Then we will place 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, extending back. Then we will place red terracotta across the front of the vehicle here, and we'll extend backwards 1, 2, 1, 2, join together, add a row on top, polished black stone stair here, then glass pane all the way around the edge, string here, and then light grey carpet on top of the string and the glass, then acacia slab here and here, smooth stone slab here, just like so. Next, we will place glow item frames here on the front 2 corners with a ladder in the middle, and then acacia buttons on the sides, and then a stone button on the sides of the black concrete. We can then place a layer of andesite wall extending up and above the cab of the vehicle like this, with a block of iron here, 2 white concrete here, a polished diorite slab here, and we can also add tripwire hooks to the cab of the vehicle, just like so. Then we will add a lever here and a black concrete here, smooth stone slab on top, extend back 2, then place a black concrete underneath, 3 smooth stone slabs, and then we can place a black concrete underneath the first and the last, with stone buttons on the sides of the wheels. And then we can extend stone slabs all the way to the back here, just like so. And then we are going to place stone brick wall extending up and behind the white concrete. So it extends up 3 rows high and then back up. And then we can start extending back. So we extend back by 2. And then we will dangle chain down to the ground like so. So next we are going to have a car that is being towed by the tow truck. So pick your favourite colour of wool and carpet combination. Wool here. Then leather here. And as you can see, it kind of like connects to this chain. And we can extend the wool backwards by placing, well, first of all, we'll place 1 yellow wool, stair, then yellow wool. We'll extend the wool outwards on both sides. We'll even have to make the car a bit longer, like this. Add another row here, add glass pane around here, and we need string as well. So we'll place a string above the stair, and we can seal up the roof with yellow carpet, just like so. And then we can add item frames to the car, and you can either use buttons for the wheels of the car, or alternatively oak trap doors are always a favourite. And there we go. So we have the tow truck towing in the car. We've got every single vehicle that we could possibly want in here, I think. There's really only one thing left to do at this point. And by the way, this looks crazy. The next thing that we have to do, which I will not bore you with the footage of, is to replace all of the available grass with dirt path. So this will just really add to the overall vibe of the junkyard. There are some blocks in which we will not be able to turn into dirt path, but instead we can replace those with coarse dirt instead, or podzol, or any kind of browny, dusty looking block. In addition to this, I am going to add a few other details to the junkyard as well. So I'm going to add some weiring to some of the areas where the vehicles would travel around the junkyard. I'm also going to add various plants wherever there would be less disturbed areas, so like in the corners and to the outskirts of the junkyard. I'm going to add grass, or ferns, or tall grass, or tall ferns in different amounts of density. And I'm just going to try to, other than the plants that we are specifically planting, limit the amount of green as much as possible. Fun fact, this took about 20 minutes. And with those final details added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed this tutorial. However, this video is not over. We must now add our scrapyard into our city. I think that the best place for a build like this is in the rural part of the city, and I'm actually going to replace the mini Poppy Playtime Factory. This part of the city is likely next to be revamped, and this scrapyard is definitely the kind of build that I would like to be here when I do. So, for now, you may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labelled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Lightmatica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Mini-City. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.